So, getting into the entire idea between the differences between Hi-CAPAs and standard 1911s is mostly the guide rods. So basically, a Hi-CAPA almost always will run off of the full-length guide rod, which is this, which controls your recoil spring. Meanwhile, a standard 1911 will run off the GI spring guide. Standard 1911s, back when they were first created, obviously in 1911, ran with government issue spring guides. They were mostly mass produced and they were nowhere near close as good as this, and airsoft ones try and replicate the best versions that they can find on the real steel market. Hi-CAPAs represent more futuristic type of 1911s, but in the end they are still a variant of the 1911. This extended spring guide, or full-length spring guide as some people call it, was basically just designed to handle recoil better. It was also made to, in theory, handle all, I guess you could say, wear and tear that the recoil has. But with an airsoft gun, that really isn't a problem. You really only run into that if you're really overcharging these things with CO2. So we're going to start with the Hi-CAPA disassembly. This is a KJW Hi-CAPA, and these are not wear and tear on the paint. I cut it down with a file so I could get better fitting on my holster, which is needed for a Serpa. So as you can tell with the full-length spring guide, it's pretty obvious how it works actually. It is somewhat complex to take apart. I wouldn't say too complex, but it is a little bit different than if you're used to most pistols. Everything else is basically the exact same. There really is no difference between them as far as internals go. As far as KJW goes, this will be stronger, but you are going to have less gas efficiency because more power is going into the BB, and you are getting a lesser end product, even though KJW is still an amazing company. So this is the KWA Mark II PTP pistol. The Marks do use double stack magazines or single stack magazines, especially made for them. It is a great pistol. I absolutely love it. The gas efficiency on this thing is absolutely amazing. I've been able to get up to about 2.5 mags actually sometimes with the 14 rounders. And that's me just keep pulling the trigger over and over again. I tend to not put any wait time in between my rounds. I usually, when I need my pistol, I need it. So basically the takedown is the exact same, but with a KWA it is a little bit stiffer. Push that down. So one thing you immediately notice if you are used to taking part in 1911 is that the Hi-CAPA, if I do this, not only will the whole barrel move, but the whole spring comes right out. From there we can basically take apart the entire gun. Oops. Got a little stuck on the nozzle there. So as you can tell, it's a lot easier to field strip since I don't have to actually take apart this the guide. So if something gets in your rifle or your pistol, I mean, and something goes horribly wrong, it's a lot harder to work on it with a Hi-CAPA. You are going to need some disassembly time, and really you don't have that. Putting it back together is, well, the exact same way. KWAs do come with plastic outer barrels. That's not a problem. A lot of people don't trust it. Guys, honestly, if you like TM, you'll like this. I mean, it extremely helps in the gas efficiency. It's not pushing a metal rod. It also helps with the FPS, which this doesn't need. You don't need a strong FPS pistol. It's basically useless. Well, I shouldn't say useless, but there really is no need for it. One of the huge differences between the Hi-CAPA and the standard 1911 series is almost always you will get single stack magazines. KWA and KJW and a couple other companies, including Tokyo Marui, do make double stack 1911 magazines. I do not recommend them. I don't. It's a single stack pistol made for single stack mags. Follow that. Hi-CAPAs were made and designed and are extremely good with double stack magazines. That being said, you should probably go with what works, not what's cool or unique. As you can tell, the 1911 mag is a lot thinner. A lot thinner. To put that in comparison, I'm going to show you a KWA USP Compact Tactical Magazine. Something also to note is that even though you have more rounds in this magazine, you are going to need more gas. More gas, guys. More gas. I don't care what company makes it. If it's a Hi-CAPA, it needs more gas. Bigger mag. More BBs. More gas. Not that complex. If you want to be spacious on gas and you want to keep your money going, I recommend a KWA single stack magazine. Yes, they cost a lot, but you will not need to replace the O-rings or fix them at all. You have to do that with a lot of Hi-CAPAs. There's a lot of gas in there, and it's all going through. Alright? This entire area has to go through that little opening. So, you're probably thinking what's better than dual wielding a Hi-CAPA in a 1911 in a match? Nah. I can't think of anything either. For testing purposes, I will be using Vulcan Tactical Green Gas, and I will be running Evi Custom Chrono, and this is just between the KWA and the KJW, KJW Hi-CAPA and the KWA Mark II PTP pistol. This doesn't have to do with the Hi-CAPA versus standard 1911 comparison, but this is recommended like advice from me for everybody who wants to get one of these two pistols. I did forget to mention that I am using Vulcan Tactical Green Gas. There is a lot more silicone in this than most green gases. I highly recommend ASG Green Gas. That will get you the best bang for your buck. It's absolutely amazing. Perfect ratio if you ask me. A little bit hard to come by. Huge bottle, definitely worth it. It's about the exact same price for this, sometimes even lower, but it's about that big, guys. This will drop your FPS about 30 to even 60 FPS because of how much silicone is in here, but you will almost never have a leak because of this. This is extremely good for mags that are low budget, that leak a lot, so you're looking at WE. WE has leaking magazines, and this solves it really, guys. I mean, if you keep those O-rings lubricated, it'll be fine. If you use this, sacrifice about 40 FPS, it's worth it. It really is. First, we will test the KWA Mark II PTP pistol. I am going to be running KWA 0.25 gram, 5.93, if I remember correctly, millimeter BBs. This is fully gassed with Vulcan Green Gas, so we'll see how this goes. We are now testing the KJW Hi-CAPA. This is using a WE magazine as they are slightly more gas efficient. Unfortunately, we are still having some small leaks because it is a WE magazine. WE isn't horrible, but you really get what you pay for. I'm using the exact same BBs I used with the Mark II pistol, so we'll see how this goes.